Hi there, and welcome to another episode of the Silver Screen Show, the very first one of 2017. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
It's been a while since the last episode, hasn't it? I think I
it's
disappeared one episode, then you guys...
Oh, this is the... Okay, so you missed 2 episodes.
Yes, I did. Yes, I'm back back for the new year. So
a long gap feels weird.
Yes, it has. I know.
I miss this show.
You guys have a nice holiday? You had a nice time off during the holidays?
Oh yeah, definitely. Lots of movie watching.
Yes.
Man, some movies came out this time.
And I watched these films, I mean the ones we're about to review, so long back that today I was finding it difficult to remember the plot. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. We had a lot of films, so let's crack on.
Yeah.
So first review we got is probably the biggest film of 2016. Coming out at the end of 2016.
For you guys.
For us guys.
Well, it's any you are. Certainly for Disney.
Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So what's there to say about this? It's a spin-off from the Star Wars universe. And then this is a film that takes place before the original films. It's like episode 3.5.
So it's in between 3rd and 4th film.
Yes. A bit more closer to the 4th.
A bit closer to the 4th. In fact, it follows straight to the 4th because it talks about the story of how they got the blueprint of the Death Star.
Yeah, I know. So a quick summary of the film. It's about a group of rebels who try to infiltrate the infiltrate the, what are they called?
Imperial base.
Imperial base to retrieve the blueprints for the Death Star. So let's go to the...
Yeah, I think go for the fan first. Star Wars fan.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan per se, but I just love films which are well done. And this was definitely one of the well done films. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that this was the best film since the first trilogy came out. So
yeah, I was going to say, not the second trilogy.
Yeah, no. After the first trilogy, I mean, anything is better than the second trilogy. So that's
okay, let's not go to that.
We could go on
for another hour. We've just
exactly. That would be whole show talking about how bad those films were.
So, points that you liked. What stood out for you?
I thought the story was quite simple and easy to follow, and that's a plus point instead of a bad thing.
Especially in a fantasy sci-fi kind of setting where you can get kind of bogged down with all the detail.
In fact, a lot of the times, these kind of films will be modeled by the animation and the graphics work, and it'll be difficult to follow the story. But this one kept very straight at the storyline, and everything that happened in the film converged to that final moment when the battle happens in the Imperial base.
That's one of my positives. A wonderful story. Like, it came together, and it's changed from the usual Star Wars stuff. It's a lot more darker, a lot more mature. Rather than the usual, A New Hope is all like, we're going to save the world. This is a lot more gritty, and I like that side of it.
So first of all, I'd like to mention this film is made exclusively for the Star Wars fans. And unfortunately, I'm not a big fan. I think I repeated myself.
So did you, quick, did you understand what's happening?
Yes, okay. I did understand. I mean, it was good to follow. Yeah. I haven't watched all the previous, the previous series of Star Wars, but I mean, it was, I would say, the story itself was very captivating. So it starts like, you gave a little bit of the synopsis. So it's I love the part played by Jyn Erso, the main actress.
Yes,
Felicity Jones.
Yeah,
Felicity Jones.
Felicity, So young Jyn Erso is living on
I think the casting was actually very well on. I mean, K2SO4, the android.
I was gonna say that.
Loved him, like the deadpan humor.
It had such a dry deadpan humor. You're right.
Donnie Yen as Chirrut. I mean, he's already a fan favorite.
The blind monk, right?
I think Donnie Yen and Riz Ahmed are my favorite parts of the film.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was.
So I was saying, she's living on a farm with her parents. The emotions attached, like when she gets captured, she's living on the planet of Lamu, and when trouble comes, she races and then meets Saw Gerrera, played by Forest Whitaker.
Yeah, Forest Whitaker. Right? I was going to mention Forest Whitaker because that I think is the weakest part of the film.
Small part.
Yeah, it kind of disappeared after a while.
Yeah,
very quickly.
And his entire character was so weird.
Yeah.
He's talking like he's got a chest cough.
Yeah, exactly.
That side, I will say.
Then she meets Captain Cassian Andor. And a callous intelligent officer for and where he's accompanied by the Imperial android that you were talking about. Yeah. And I really like that part of K2SO. Exactly. And then there's a new gang this time, including K2SO and then the blind monk.
I think what works here is that they're new characters, so it's a fresh start, and they all click very well. And if I could just sum one thing up, I think one thing that's made the film great is that cameo at the end. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who's not watched it. There are 2 people who are out there who ain't watched it. But the cameo, I think Mr. Moore will know.
But I mean, on the negative side, I would say Rogue One is meant to be something of a caper film, but absolutely, it's got it's kind of abstract. It could have been more focused towards. I mean, I like the story, but I mean, since I haven't watched the previous ones. I mean, there were parts where I was a bit lost, but I mean,
that's probably it's probably understandable for someone who's not really in touch with law. I mean, any bad things for you?
I think bad things would, and I'm not on the majority on this. I didn't like Jyn Erso's portrayal, and I thought she was quite a forgettable character and could have been played by anyone. She didn't have any noticeable character traits that meant that Felicity Jones was the only person who had to play it. Like, if you imagine Iron Man, only Robert Downey Jr. can play Iron Man.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not very synonymous with
and you can't imagine anyone else. But Felicity Jones's character could have been played by anyone. And that's one of the weak points for me. If you go back to the original trilogy, just as a comparison, Harrison Ford's character, you can only imagine Harrison Ford in that character.
I think that is one of the points I have, is that as good a character, they're not as charming as the ones from The Force Awakens, you know, Rey, Finn and Poe. They're already lovable instantly after one film, whereas this film, you just don't feel that same warmth to these characters.
Yeah, I did feel like this film had the feel of Empire Strikes Back compared to the Seventh A New Hope, because this one was a bit darker, like you mentioned. As well, one thing I really liked about it is that it showed the battle, the war, from the sidelines and the perspective of everyday people who struggle and have the sense of desperation going into the war and what they would do just to win. And even for a small thing as a blueprint, they'd give their life just to recover that. So that was one of the plus sides.
Very thoughtful and deep in analysis. So let's wrap this one up.
Yeah, three-word
review.
Okay, I'll go for it. Like I said at the beginning, exclusively for fans.
Fair enough.
That's my review.
Best since the first trilogy.
Fair enough. Mine is Rogue One Delivers, which I think it did.
That's pretty good.
Well, for me personally, anyway.
So, personal opinion.
Moving on, Moana came out December, so we'll quickly blast through this one. This is the latest Disney animation, and it's about a. She's not really a princess. She's more like the chief's daughter.
Never call her princess. In fact, she doesn't like it. Daughter of the chief.
Daughter of the chief.
Daughter of the chief.
Who sets out on an adventure to go save the world. So. I'll kick this one off. You know what? I think this is the best Disney film of the year. There's a lot of competition. There was The Jungle Book. There was Zootropolis.
I think this
there was one more in there somewhere else.
It's overdone the others. There was Storks.
I'm not too sure, but I think the competition for animated films was huge this year, and I think Moana really.
Finding Nemo as well, didn't we?
Finding Nemo, exactly. Finding Dory, sorry.
Finding Dory, sorry.
So this competition's been good. So for me, I'll just go into the good points straight away.
I'll just go for Moana.
The storyline was refreshing. It makes a change from the usual princess storyline. The Rock, I'm going to call him The Rock.
Johnson.
No, he's The Rock.
He's The Rock.
The Rock just killed it in his cameo. And I love the ocean theme to the film. It just was...
I just loved it. It's so beautiful.
I think animation was amazing. And I think the ocean film really worked to its strengths for that film. Anything else to add?
Yeah, Pam,
so, I mean, I'm a Disney fan. So I would like to say that Disney's Moana has come as a fresh breath of air to end the year 2016. It was the perfect tribute to Disney films.
Yeah, definitely.
Throughout the year. In fact, to all animated films, like you said.
And at the end...
I mean, I wouldn't disagree with what you just said, but I think this film is a bit too formulaic for me. So if you looked at the film in isolation compared to any other films that Disney had made, it would be a fantastic film. But as we know, all films are built on previous films' failures and successes. And with that in mind, if I have the whole array of Disney's successes and other films, this film is almost like a perfection of everything that Disney did in other films. It starts with a character being unsure of herself, then someone guiding her who's a bit crazy.
Someone dies.
Go follow your dreams or find who you are. The main song.
I think it did fall back on that one cliche, which is one part I did put down, is that scene where the inevitable comes back from the dead to give the...
Comes back. But I'd like to say that, I mean, it's not like the other typical Disney films like
it's not
the
totally,
princess. It's about it's a joyous tale of a beautiful, passionate teenage girl, 16 years old, and she's fallen in love with not a prince. She's fallen in love with the ocean,
exactly.
the sea. So I mean, how she conquers. I mean. It's about Maui as well, played by Dwayne Johnson. The Rock, who's got dancing tattoos on his body. It's
I think he worked great for the film.
So it's really nice to see such a refreshing film. A child, and it's a newcomer as well, like we were saying. The voiceover She's done brilliant, don't you think?
Yeah,
she's not part of.
And one last thing before we move on to next, the song I think is really catchy.
You like
the song?
What's that
yeah,
song
the theme
again?
song, man, is way more catchy than
it.
Let It Go. I mean,
yeah,
I think the words were a bit too difficult to pronounce. I was like, what did she say?
And another thing I liked was, you know, how they portrayed, was it Tafiti? The stone that she had to...
Yeah, the heart.
Yeah, and the island, it looked like a monster at the beginning, but later, I mean, I don't want to give spoilers, but I mean, it's not in the cinemas anymore, so... Yeah, it's beautiful.
Right, so let's wrap this one up.
Where did you start?
I'll go ahead. I'll say Disney's new champion. I think this film is probably up there as one of the best they've produced.
It is, yeah. I'd say Breath of Fresh Air.
And I'd say formulaic perfection, because it follows the formulae to perfection. And although everything is okay, I found a lot of the things like harkening back to whatever Disney did in prior films. And I wish Disney would walk away from this commercial take its doing and do something a bit different. Disney has got tremendous talent, and they can do anything they want. Yeah, this is a moneymaker. This formula, I can write an article on this formula because it's pretty well documented by now. But I hope they do something different just for the sake of artistic.
Yeah, that's not maybe
the
exploration.
They come up with different things different concepts, don't they?
It's around the same.
I could show you how all the films are very similar.
That's a spin-off show for you.
That's another take, another show.
Right, and let's go on to the final review. Passengers.
I love this film. I know many of you will disagree, but I really liked it.
So Passengers,
18% in Rotten Tomatoes.
I know the reviews are so bad. I went.
All right.
Oh, you started.
Let's hold it back here. So Passengers star Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence as a couple of adventurers. We were on a way to a new planet.
125 years.
Yes. So they're in cryogenic sleep and they awakened far too early, and the story follows how they survive or what they do. So Chris Pratt's character wakes up early.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do I do?
The only one in the spaceship. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he follows his quest and
he gets lured by.
Hey, don't spoil the film for me.
It's no longer in the cinema.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, but you can always get the Blu-ray.
Oh, okay.
So.
To be honest, there's more red than green on this one for me.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil this, but it's not really a spoiler because it happens in the first.
It's very
act of the film.
Yeah.
Basically, he wakes her up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. She doesn't randomly wake up like he does. He makes
because he's so lonely. He needs a companion.
And
just looks at her, and she's so beautiful.
The trailer kind of makes it look like they both wake up.
Yeah,
but
the
they
trailer
don't.
you can't tell.
He makes a decision to wake her up.
Exactly.
Essentially,
And it was a tough decision
process,
because if someone wakes from hibernation, it's going to take 100 years to reach to the
90 years to go.
When he wakes up, 90 years to go, and then he spends 1 year all by himself with the bartender. Who plays a very fascinating
Martin
character.
Sheen was great as a bartender.
You can never go wrong with Martin Sheen.
Yeah, Martin Sheen was amazing.
So what I think let this film down is, the fact that they did that whole ethical dilemma, which I think was great actually, the whole opening act where Chris Pratt's on his own, exploring, and he makes a decision, shall I wake her up? Should I not? Yeah. That was actually really good. And I think if the film followed through with that, and at the end, they kind of redeemed it, it would have been okay, but I think they kind of just eased off a bit, and they kind of went up with she falls in love with him anyway at the end.
Yeah.
And I think, that's kind of...
Oh, so is she always sulking?
No. So she doesn't know at the beginning that she's been woken up. She thinks something goes. There's a system error. That's what happened to Chris Pratt, right?
Understood.
And then Sheen, who's the bartender, he's not human, by the way. He's a robot.
Yeah, I've seen that in the trailer.
So he accidentally blurts it out to the Jennifer Lawrence, saying that you've been woken up. That's when she gets really... falls in love.
Before spoiling too much, but I don't think that's a spoiler because it happens so early in the film.
Exactly.
It's not like at the end that you find out.
But Chris Pratt always feels guilty about it.
Got it. Yeah.
So I think make this review, sum it up quickly. For me, the bad points I got a lot, but the good points, I think the presentation of the film is great. It's very well done. It's
How
very
are the two
polished.
of them?
Yeah,
because they are the attraction of the film. No one cares about what happens as long as
I think those two work perfectly together.
Chemistry good?
Chemistry is great.
Was
I think that sort of saves him as the front two, the leading duo.
Right.
Yeah. Without them, the film would be nowhere near
that the character, they needed an officer to get inside the main room, where the control room, because something goes wrong in the ship, so they have to fix it, and they're passengers, so they're not allowed. What's that?
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, Lawrence
Morpheus.
Yeah.
Morpheus himself.
Yeah, so I felt that his character was just there to put him in.
It's a quick paycheck. He came in for 5 minutes and disappeared.
5 minutes and then he dies. So that wasn't a very sparkling.
You don't actually die in the Matrix, by the way.
So yeah, I think the first half was really well done. The whole exploration, I'm lonely, how do I survive? The second half, they could have gone somewhere really great with it.
Yeah,
but they didn't commit to it.
Right.
They committed to this, but they didn't. So for me, well, I think only us two watched the other thing. Mo did.
I see. Okay.
So my review will be, it was more style over substance. It was very well done, polished, presented really well. Pratt and Lawrence, they sell it, but the film itself isn't really all that.
Yeah, so like I said, I love the chemistry, all of them. I mean, both of them look, but one thing that disturbed me was like, why would you just fall for a beauty of a girl and then wake her up, kind of ruin her life? Because that's what he did.
I think we can think of many reasons.
I find it difficult.
But that's what I'm saying though. They had the chance to do this really well with the whole ethical dilemma of it all. But at the end of the day, they didn't really pull through with it, which is a bit.
And then they fall in love. She's got a big grudge against him, but then again, she knows that he was lonely. I mean, he tries to explain it to her. Then she's like,
and sure, he was the only man.
He was the only. So I mean, both of them.
I don't think it would have worked as well if it was like someone like Seth Rogen who woke her up here, right? Because it's Chris Pratt, you know. It's okay. So
it's a fair point.
That's a good one.
It's a fair point, man.
I think she'd be really mad if that happened.
Chris Pratt woke her up. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Last man, not too bad.
Yeah. So I mean, how they made a life.
So before we move on to the second half, just. I think Mo
Did you give the 3-word review?
Yes.
Okay, I have time for me to give.
Yeah.
So I would say, I mean, it's not got very good reviews and everything, but it was surprisingly entertaining and fascinating. That's my review.
Excellent. So before we move on to the quick review, Mr. Moses, a quick word for La La Land. You have 1 minute.
Yeah.
Go.
In fact, we pushed this into our review because this was such a great film.
He was so adamant on this, so...
And this is one film that people have to watch.
We'll probably go into more detail on it the next show. But
yeah, what actually happens is there's an actress and there's a jazz musician in LA. Back sometime, I can't remember exactly when.
Ryan Gosling, right?
Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
Definitely.
And they're trying to realize their dreams and how life goes about along in the city of dreams and fallen stars. The film is directed by, who was it directed by?
Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Damien Chazelle. No, it's quite important because that guy is one of the best directors.
Is it a romantic comedy?
It is a romantic comedy.
Which is
exactly.
Which is
romantic comedy is not the kind of film
it's not your forte.
Typically watch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But this is
amazing.
This is probably one of the best romantic comedies I've ever seen.
Is it like Notebook? If you
it is kind of like Notebook, but if you think of the best romantic comedies like Love Actually or even Notebook,
is
this I think is on par or even better than them.
Seriously?
Yeah, this is one of the best romantic comedies I've ever seen.
Look forward to the full review next show.
Yeah,
but let's
I think
move
we'll
on.
put it on our list.
Yeah, we'll put it on the list for the next one. We can go into detail about how great it is.
Absolutely, yeah.
So before we finish up, we're just going to quick review of 2016 in 2017. Yeah. But you know what I mean. So I'm going to give a few quick categories and just go over the last year and what you like. So first category, your biggest disappointment of 2016. We'll make this quick, one film and why. Let's start with Mo.
Biggest disappointment, even though I wasn't expecting too much out of it, is Suicide Squad. Because I know DC is pretty shit with Warner Brothers running whatever they're doing and their thing. I think Suicide Squad could have been an amazing show with fantastic cast, but they were just ruined by terrible editing, terrible planning, and multiple reshoots that completely ruined the tone of the film, which is again very typical of DC.
So my disappointment is going to disappoint you guys because I'm going to say it is Star Wars or Star Trek, that sequel.
Star Wars, which one?
Like
Rogue One.
Not Rogue One. There was one we watched before, isn't it?
Star Trek Beyond?
Yeah, I mean, one of them we reviewed before. So basically, I'm not a Star Wars or Star Trek fan, so I'm being biased.
Anything with the word stars is not.
Okay.
Yeah, opinion, biased.
We'll leave it at that before I just rage on.
Next one.
My disappointment was 999. I mean, it's a film that came out early in the year. It had a stellar cast. Aaron Paul, Woody Harrelson, Gal Gadot, Kate Winslet, Anthony Mackie.
It should have got a lot going
She went full Ejiofor, Casey Affleck. Yes. The talent there was amazing, but the film just did not deliver. And for me, that was just the biggest disappointment. Right, this is an easy question, the worst film of 2016. I'll start this one off, The Forest.
Oh, so does it have to be filmed? Because I kind of generalized my answers.
Fair enough.
Okay, fine.
So for me, The Forest was the worst horror film I've seen. Year full of great horror films.
Worst horror film you've seen?
Yeah, it's just so bad. It was just, I only watched it because I had the unlimited pass. I needed to watch a film. I watched it and I just didn't. It was cliched, his story was weak, it was just garbage.
Okay. My worst.
Oh,
okay.
If I start, my worst would be Batman versus Superman.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we could probably go on for years on that one, but we pretty much.
We definitely can. Yeah, and everyone knows why it's terrible.
Fair enough. We'll leave it at that.
So, like I said, I'm not mentioning a specific film. So I would say worst of 2016 were like the genre. I would say the comedies. So the comedies that came out this year.
Interesting choice. I don't think there's anything stellar.
Only few stood out. Like, we enjoyed The Nice Guys. We reviewed that. Then Bad Neighbors 2. And then there was another one.
Nice Guys was really good.
That wasn't really a comedy though, was it?
No, I said it's good.
Yeah.
Only a few were good. And the most of them, like, they weren't. Because I enjoy comedies. And this year I didn't get to watch
Nothing really stood out
Nothing really stood out other than those. Yeah, Nice Guys, Bad Neighbors 2.
Fair enough. What surprised you in 2016? What came out of nowhere? Like, whoa, where did that come from?
Should I? Okay, so again, the horror films. Conjuring 2. Even Ouija surprised me.
Ouija was amazing, actually.
I mean, Ouija was meant
Lights
to be
Out,
bad.
Don't Breathe, Green Room. It's a fantastic year for
So the horror films, I mean, they were pretty good.
I can do an article just on
exactly.
the horror
films itself.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mo.
Apart from horror films, I would have said the same as well. Green Room, very good film. Don't Breathe, amazingly done film.
Don't Breathe.
But I would say the other that surprised me as well was Zootropolis. I thought it would just be another typical
animated film, but
animated film with animals.
That film
like
was
humans.
deep. You went into like racial prejudice, stereotyping, and all that.
That's what I really liked about the film, because it took a different stance than the typical films do.
For me, there's quite a few films that caught me out. I like Ip Man 3. I mean, that's more of a personal choice. Like Ip Man 2 wasn't really a great film, but Ip Man 3. It just really, it was an emotional level.
As good as 1.
No, it's not good as 1, but on an emotional level, number 3 stands out a lot, and it really just stood out for me. And I think Donnie Yen has mastered that role. That is him now. And I think that film really hit me. And Money Monster, which is a film that came out early in the year, had George Clooney and starring as a.
That was a good film as well.
Yeah, the stock advisor guy, and the deal goes wrong, and someone comes in and blames him for losing money, and it was a really well done film. I think Julia Roberts and George Clooney worked great in that film.
But I haven't watched
I think that it's just a film. I watched that video on the plane, and I thought, I'm going to watch this again. Because I enjoyed it so much. It didn't really get much coverage. It wasn't a massive hype film. It was just a film I watched, and I really enjoyed it more than I was expecting. And probably the final one before we wrap this all up, best film of 2016.
Why did you start?
Obviously I have to give it to Civil War. I mean, I'm a massive Marvel fan.
All right, okay.
But I mean, that aside, that's probably the standout winner for me. But I'd just like to throw in one more. I think Arrivals. Honestly, that was a great film. I mean, Civil War stands out to me on like a fanboy level. Like as a fan, I love Civil War.
Would you choose Civil War or Doctor Strange as number 1?
Nah, Civil War.
Civil
War. The hype
still.
for that, the trailers, all the
Okay.
But I think that the fanboy aside, I think Arrivals is a great film. I was not expecting it such a deep film, and I think what it tackled, it wasn't a usual alien film. It wasn't about I'm going to shoot at the sky. Yeah. It's about language.
And the aliens weren't actually evil.
Exactly, which is great. So Civil War first, I think Arrivals close second for me. Pam.
Okay, so as we've got so many good animated films this year, so there's I love Moana. That was amazing. Brilliant storyline. We've got Dwayne Johnson, big shot film. And then there's The Girl on the Train, which I personally really like because I love suspense thrillers and drama. So
that was
and you have to
Emily
really
Blunt
think.
was
Emily
great
Blunt
in that role,
was great, such great acting, and it's like you have to think a lot. You can't predict, so it's a very good film. And among the horror films, I've picked like three different genres. Best films, Conjuring 2. I think it was really good.
Oh God.
You didn't like? Oh yeah, you had
absolutely
reviews,
no.
I think,
It was
but
so.
you should like it. It's
Yo man, it's Enfield man, repping Enfield, Green Street.
That villain of Conjuring 2, the
I
evil
liked
spirit
it.
was so stupid. She gave out her name. When she was,
Oh yeah, the V something, right?
Yo man, we're in touch with our own opinion, man.
Yeah, just entitled to their own
And
opinion.
wrap it all up.
I would say best films, definitely one of the best would be Arrival. It's one of the films that you have to watch just to admire the cinematography and auditory experience that it gives.
And I think it's a film you have to watch more than once to fully appreciate the depth of it.
Yes, and there's so much going for it. Even though some people may not like the plot twist in the end, it still had such amazing visual and, like you're saying, auditory.
Yeah, I think
it was just experience tour de force.
Gilles Villeneuve, I think his name is.
What, sorry?
Dennis Villeneuve, sorry, the director.
Oh yeah.
Gilles is in F1 driver.
Yeah.
But I think he's done really well.
Knows how to direct.
I mean, Sicario, he was another film.
Sicario, exactly.
Great. So I think he's on the upward trajectory.
Definitely is. So, apart from that, I thought 10 Cloverfield Lane was also one of the best.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
About that.
John Goodman.
I'm a sucker for alien films to begin with, any sci-fi films, and that film had a great twist.
I think what worked well in this was the tension.
The tension, yes. Yeah. And 3 people in a room
could have gone really bad.
It could have gone anywhere.
Could have gone.
Yeah, and the actors really pulled through. And
I think that
it was amazing suspense, like you were saying, suspense thriller. That's the kind of suspense thriller.
Especially with the Cloverfield name, we weren't really too sure what to expect. Like, is it going to be just like the first one again? But no, they went in a totally different direction, and I think it really did well.
And apart from that, I would also mention La La Land. We didn't talk too much about it,
but
this
next show, don't worry, man.
This film will definitely be remembered as one of the best.
Coming up.
This film will be remembered.
I know La La Land is swept the Golden Globes. It's probably going to sweep the Oscars. So look forward to it.
This in fact already won 6 or 4 Golden Globes.
Yeah, I know he swept. Wow.
Or nominations. I could be mistaken.
I think that came out recently, so I'll have to watch it actually.
Yeah, me too.
So that wraps up this show. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully we progress well this year. Who knows what holds. So take care. Goodbye.
Bye.